Hey, welcome back for part two of the home selling process. I'm Scott Nold with the Nold Group in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. Let's get started. What are the pros and cons of open houses? The pros: exposure is the name of the game, and we want as many potential buyers as possible to see your home. Usually the listing agent or a member of their team is hosting the open house. They are on site as your advocate, familiar with your property and able to answer property related questions. In some cases, we can reduce the individual one-on-one showings and the need for you to prepare for each individual showing, especially if the open house is held when the property first goes active on the market. If a well-trained agent can show 5, 10, maybe even 15 people your home in a well-organized 2 to 3 hour open house, we have made your life easier, created a buzz, a valuable competitive atmosphere. Hopefully we've gathered some useful feedback and ideally an offer or two or three. Yes, homes definitely sell as a result of open houses. The cons: depending on how the guest learns about the open house, like if he's a drive-by, the price and other details may not fit their specific search criteria, and we've given a tour to a possibly unqualified guest. Some sellers fear there may be too many people in the house at one time for the agent, and the agent won't be able to keep track of everyone. Some guests are just simply looking for decorating ideas, and there's nothing that we can do about that. And the old infamous, I don't want my nosy neighbors traipsing through my house. Well, we have a very successful plan to handle your neighbors. Feel free to reach out and we'll be glad to share how we successfully handle this. In the end, we get it. You are the boss. If you're not open to open houses, please do not feel pressured by your agent. Okay, price reductions and when is the right time? This definitely is not a one-size-fits-all answer. Just a few years ago during the pandemic, if we didn't have 10 or 15 offers in the first 2 days, we panicked fearing that we missed the price, missed the market. It was crazy. Everybody wanted to be in Florida and the price was no object. Now that we're in a more balanced, more normal market and the inventory is increasing, proper pricing is hyper important. Assuming that we're not talking about a unicorn of a property, if within the first 7 to 10 days there haven't been any showing requests, price or marketing is very possible the reason. Possibly both, and you need to have a conversation about it. If you've been on the market 2 or 3 weeks, you've had 5 or 10 showings, but you haven't received any offers, well, we know that the marketing is getting the property out there to the target audience. Therefore, it's very likely that the price needs to be reviewed. Be sure to ask for and receive feedback after every showing. If the feedback states that the house is overpriced, please make sure that your agent calls that other agent and dig deeper into that response. It's sometimes just a default answer and they don't have anything to back up that statement regarding a price. And if someone says that the price is too cheap and they didn't make an offer, that's definitely a phone call. In any case, pay close attention to this feedback. The feedback might provide insight to why the house isn't selling. Some things you can change, some you simply can't. Okay, so we've nailed it, and now we have offers. Whether you have one offer or multiple offers, what makes a winning offer? Far too many people believe the price is all that matters, and I'm here to tell you that while it's at or near the top of everyone's list, it's definitely not the only item that should be reviewed and discussed in great detail. First, you need to review your why. Why are you selling? Is it a financial need? Is it a job transfer with a specific time restriction or deadline? Are you waiting on new construction and don't want to be homeless if you sell? Is it a vacation or investment property with furniture or tenants to deal with? Is it an estate settlement? All of these different reasons might present their own unique needs and quite possibly garner a different response to any given offer. At minimum, there are 7 or 8 items that we need to pay close attention to. We know that price is a given. So what else? What is the proper amount to accept for an earnest money or good faith deposit? I say make sure that the buyer is willing to make a deposit great enough to cover both your risk of taking the property off the market while making them feel a bit of financial pain should they default on the contract. How long do they need, or how long are they asking for closing? Is it realistic, and does it fit your needs or your schedule? As a side note, if the buyer is using a mortgage to purchase the property, please be sure that your agent speaks directly with the lender to confirm that they are in fact qualified, and also to confirm that the lender can close the loan in the timeline that they've presented within their offer. Who's paying for the cost of title and the cost of closing? Believe it or not, this is negotiable. As a seller's agent, I usually prefer to see that the buyer pick and pay for title. I want the maximum proceeds given to the seller, and this cost can be a few, up to many thousands of dollars depending on the sale price. Is the purchase contingent upon inspections, and how long does the buyer need to provide you with a notice of results or the notice to make repair requests? Is the purchase contingent upon the sale of the buyer's current home? And if so, where is that specific transaction in the process? Is the buyer requesting the seller to provide any additional closing costs or closing credits? Sometimes we see buyers ask for the seller to pay 3% or 5% and apply it to closing. In essence, the buyer is overpaying by 3%. So that the seller credits back that same 3% at closing, because maybe the buyer doesn't have as much free cash as they would like to have. The problem with giving back money in these transactions is that what if the property that you're selling is selling at the higher end of properties in your neighborhood and the appraisal comes in below the actual sale price? The property must appraise for at least the sale price if being financed. This, in order to keep the deal alive, do you lower the price or remove the 3% concession? Does the buyer cancel the deal? Because these situations usually show up in a lower down payment type transaction, the buyer is now in control and usually has a legal reason to cancel the contract. Had the concession not been involved, would the appraisal have been short? Are they asking for the seller to pay for and provide a warranty? Is the buyer an institutional buyer or an investor or someone that intends to live in the home? This matters as their negotiation motivations and psychological buy-in will usually vary. Ideally, when all things are equal, a buyer that can envision themselves or their family living in this beautiful home, they are far more likely to work with us when the unexpected happens. What are typical closing costs for the sellers? Let's talk about it. These are not a fixed number or a fixed percentage, and they vary from transaction to transactions. What we see as typical or required would be the real estate commissions and the tax stamps on deed, also known as the transfer tax. The transfer tax is 0.7% of the sale price. Again, that's 0.7%, not 7%. So at minimum, your costs are going to be your real estate commissions plus approximately 1%. When you take into consideration the transfer tax and some other ancillary items that you might see. Other items could be the title insurance, which again can be thousands, your lien searches, your recording fees, and so on. Hopefully I've added some clarity and answered some questions for you. Thank you very much for watching, and please feel free to reach out if you have any additional questions. My contact info is below, and please subscribe to our channel for more great real estate content. And if you like this video or found it helpful, give us a like and subscribe. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.